Belarus is one of Europe's most underrated travel destinations, a landlocked country nestled between Russia, Ukraine, Poland, Latvia, and Lithuania. Often overlooked in favor of its more famous neighbors, Belarus quietly holds a treasure trove of history, natural beauty, Soviet-era architecture, and medieval castles that leave every visitor in absolute awe. This is a country where ancient forests have stood for thousands of years, where World War II history is etched into every monument and memorial, and where the old world charm of Eastern Europe feels completely untouched by mass tourism. Whether you are a history enthusiast, a nature lover, or simply someone searching for a destination that feels genuinely authentic, Belarus delivers on every front. The country's capital, Minsk, is a city unlike any other in Europe, while the countryside offers landscapes so serene and wild that they feel almost otherworldly. From grand castles to tranquil national parks, from poignant war memorials to vibrant cultural centers, Belarus has something remarkable waiting around every corner. So let us take a journey through the top 10 places you absolutely must visit when you find yourself in this extraordinary and often forgotten gem of Eastern Europe. The journey begins in Minsk, the capital city of Belarus, which is a destination that immediately challenges every expectation you might carry with you. Minsk was almost entirely destroyed during the World War II, and what rose from those ashes is one of the most striking examples of Soviet-era urban planning anywhere in the world. Wide, sweeping boulevards lined with monumental Stalinist architecture give the city a grand, theatrical quality that is impossible to ignore. Independence Avenue, the main thoroughfare stretching through the heart of the city, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a living museum of mid-20th century architectural ambition. Beyond the grand facades, Minsk is a surprisingly modern and dynamic city with a thriving arts scene, excellent restaurants, and a nightlife culture that rivals many Western European capitals. The National Library of Belarus, shaped like a massive rhombicoboctahedron, is a futuristic landmark that glows like a diamond in the night sky. Victory Square, with its towering obelisk and eternal flame, stands as a deeply moving tribute to those who lost their lives during the war. Minsk is a city of contrasts, where Soviet grandeur meets contemporary creativity, and it serves as the perfect gateway into everything Belarus has to offer. Just about 85 kilometers southwest of Minsk lies one of the most breathtaking architectural treasures in all of Eastern Europe, the Mir Castle complex. This magnificent fortress, recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, dates back to the early 16th century and has witnessed centuries of conflict, conquest, and transformation. The castle's distinctive towers, each topped with pointed roofs, rise dramatically above the surrounding landscape, creating a silhouette that looks as though it has been lifted directly from the pages of a fairy tale. Originally built in the Gothic style, the castle was later expanded and modified with Renaissance elements, giving it a unique architectural character that reflects the many cultures and rulers who called it home over the centuries. The surrounding grounds include a beautifully maintained park, a picturesque lake, and a chapel that contains the tombs of the Sviatopolk-Mirsky family, the castle's last private owners. Inside, the castle has been meticulously restored and now functions as a museum where visitors can explore richly decorated interiors, period furniture, and fascinating historical exhibits. Mir Castle is not simply a monument to the past, it is a living, breathing piece of history that transports you back through the centuries with every step you take within its ancient walls. Located approximately 30 kilometers from Mir Castle, Nesvizh Castle is another UNESCO World Heritage Site, and arguably the most magnificent palace complex in all of Belarus. Built in the 16th century by the powerful Radziwill family, one of the most influential noble dynasties in Eastern European history, the castle served as the family's primary residence for over 4 centuries. The architecture is a stunning blend of Baroque, Renaissance, and Gothic styles, and the palace is surrounded by an elaborate system of ponds, earthworks, and beautifully landscaped gardens that stretch across the surrounding countryside. The interior of the castle is equally impressive, with lavishly decorated halls, grand staircases, and an extraordinary collection of artwork, tapestries, and historical artifacts that speak to the immense wealth and cultural sophistication of the Radziwill family. The castle's church, the Corpus Christi Farney Church, is one of the earliest Baroque buildings in the region and contains the burial crypts of the Radziwill family, making it a site of profound historical and spiritual significance. Together, Mir Castle and Nesvizh Castle form a remarkable duo that any visitor to Belarus should make every effort to experience. Moving westward to the city of Brest near the border with Poland, visitors encounter one of the most emotionally powerful sites in all of Belarus, the Brest Fortress. This 19th century fortification became the site of one of the most heroic and tragic episodes of World War II when Soviet soldiers defended it against the German invasion for weeks in the summer of 1941, long after the surrounding territory had already fallen. The memorial complex that stands here today is one of the most moving war memorials in the entire world. A massive stone sculpture of a soldier's face emerging from a rock, known as the Courage Monument, stands as a haunting and unforgettable symbol of sacrifice and defiance. The eternal flame burns continuously at the center of the complex, and the ruins of the original fortress buildings have been preserved exactly as they were left after the battle, with bullet holes and shell damage still visible in the crumbling walls. Walking through the Brest Fortress is an experience that stays with you long after you have left, a profound reminder of the human cost of war and the extraordinary courage of those who fought here. For those who find their greatest joy in the natural world, Belovezhskaya Pushcha National Park is an absolute must-visit destination. Straddling the border between Belarus and Poland, this ancient forest is one of the last and largest remaining parts of the primeval forest that once covered the European plain thousands of years ago. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a biosphere reserve, home to an extraordinary diversity of plant and animal life, including the famous European bison, the heaviest land animal on the continent, which was brought back from the brink of extinction here. Walking through the ancient trees of Belovezhskaya Pushcha feels like stepping into a world that existed long before human civilization began reshaping the landscape. The park offers a network of trails for hiking and cycling, and guided tours are available for those who want to learn more about the remarkable ecosystem that thrives within its boundaries. There is also a charming Father Frost residence within the park, making it a magical destination for families visiting during the winter months. Polotsk holds the distinction of being the oldest city in Belarus, with a history stretching back over 11 centuries. Situated along the banks of the western Dvina River, this ancient city was once one of the most powerful principalities in Eastern Europe and played a central role in the early development of Belarusian culture, religion, and identity. The St. Sophia Cathedral, built in the 11th century, is the city's most iconic landmark and one of the oldest surviving stone buildings in the entire region. Its white walls and graceful domes reflect beautifully in the river below, creating one of the most picturesque scenes in all of Belarus. Polotsk is also the birthplace of Euphrosyne of Polotsk, a revered 12th century saint who is considered the patron of Belarus, and her monastery remains an active place of pilgrimage and worship to this day. The city's museums, ancient churches, and tranquil riverside setting make it a deeply rewarding destination for anyone interested in the deep historical roots of Belarusian civilization. Grodno, located near the borders with Poland and Lithuania, is widely considered one of the most beautiful and historically rich cities in Belarus. Unlike many Belarusian cities that were heavily damaged during the World War II, Grodno survived relatively intact, preserving a remarkable collection of historic architecture spanning several centuries. The old castle and the new castle, perched side by side on a hill overlooking the Neman River, form the centerpiece of the city's historic district and offer stunning panoramic views of the surrounding landscape. The city's streets are lined with colorful buildings representing Gothic, Baroque, and Classicist architectural styles, giving Grodno a distinctly Central European character that sets it apart from other Belarusian cities. The Farney Catholic Church, with its ornate Baroque interior, is considered one of the finest examples of Baroque architecture in the entire region. Grodno's multicultural heritage, shaped by centuries of Polish, Jewish, Lithuanian, and Belarusian influences, gives it a unique and fascinating cultural identity that rewards exploration at every turn. Vitebsk is a city that wears its artistic soul proudly, most famously as the birthplace of Marc Chagall, one of the 20th century's most celebrated and beloved painters. The Marc Chagall Museum and the house where he was born have become pilgrimage sites for art lovers from around the world, offering an intimate glimpse into the early life and influences of this extraordinary artist. Beyond its connection to Chagall, Vitebsk is a city of considerable historical depth and natural beauty, situated at the confluence of the western Dvina and Vitba rivers. The city hosts the Slaviansky Bazaar, one of the largest international arts festivals in Eastern Europe, which draws performers and visitors from dozens of countries every summer and transforms the city into a vibrant celebration of music, dance, and culture. The Assumption Cathedral, rebuilt after its destruction during the Soviet era, stands as a symbol of the city's resilience and its deep connection to its Orthodox Christian heritage. Vitebsk is a city that nourishes the spirit, offering beauty, history, and culture in equal measure. Braslav Lakes National Park rounds out this list as one of the most stunning natural landscapes in all of Belarus. Located in the far north of the country near the border with Latvia, the park is centered around a breathtaking system of interconnected lakes, more than 30 in total, whose crystal clear waters shimmer in shades of blue and green that seem almost too vivid to be real. The landscape here is a masterpiece of glacial geography, shaped by the retreating ice sheets of the last ice age into a mosaic of lakes, hills, forests, and wetlands that supports an extraordinary variety of wildlife. Kayaking and boating on the lakes is an experience of pure, unfiltered joy, while the hiking trails that wind through the surrounding forests offer moments of quiet contemplation and connection with the natural world. Belarus, in all its diversity, from the grand boulevards of Minsk to the ancient trees of Belovezhskaya Pushcha, from the medieval towers of Mir Castle to the shimmering lakes of Braslav, is a country that rewards every traveler who takes the time to discover it. It is a destination that surprises, moves, and inspires, and once you have experienced it, it is a place you will carry with you always.